Hi, Rae Anne. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. I'm so happy that you could join me today and bless me with your presence because we have a lot to talk about. And we've known each other for a little bit.
Yes, we have. I was trying to remember when, like 2013, maybe?
It was because we were in a group coaching program together.
Yes.
And I have to say that the best thing that came out of that program was the people that we met. Like, we're still friends with a lot of the women from that group.
Yeah, really close. And I love it. It was definitely my best thing. Yeah.
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 So maybe you could tell everybody, what do you do?
Well, first and foremost, I am a busy mom, just like many women, um, but what I do daily is I work with women on creating a more realistic, healthy, happy lifestyle. So I do that through coaching one-on-one.
Hmm.
I do it through really like fitness coaching in person. And I also have a group program for women all over that is online. So
Hmm.
I really like working with people, teaching them how to eat better, exercise better, stress less, and just be happy. So yeah,
Well,
I really enjoy it.
you had said, well, I know this a little bit about you, and I really want to hear your story around this. Is that you have a background that, or a life experience basically, that has informed where you are right now. And one of the things that I found really interesting is that you've been involved in health and wellness for a while. You had your children, and you ended up gaining a lot of weight. So
Hmm.
maybe you can tell us a little bit about that experience and where it led to you being currently.
Yeah, actually, I thank you because I think I love my story now because I think it helps so many women that, are having a hard time with it, and it shows you can make it to the other side. So my story really begins, gosh, it was probably 1993. I started teaching step aerobics classes because the instructor was going to be out of town. So she handed me like these little note cards and a tape deck and
No
said,
way.
I think you could teach this class. And I was like, but I loved
Mm,
it. And so I decided that that was going to be, what I did, not just step aerobics, but
right.
teaching fitness classes and being a trainer. And that was like my dream. And I wanted to do nutrition. And anyway, I loved it, was really excited about it, into it, helped everybody around me. My cousin, poor cousin, I was tried to, poor thing. She probably didn't want me to be her personal trainer. But anyway, so I had built up a lot of experience in that area. I went to college. The school I went to actually ended up not being a great choice for me for that particular thing.
Hmm.
But I had other great experiences. There was no nutrition or fitness back like degree there. And I guess I just didn't know to look for that when I
Right.
went for colleges. I just was happy to get away and go to school. But I got there and I thought, uh-oh, like I better do something. So I was a business degree because that seemed important and
Hmm.
thought that would make my family happy with me. So I did that. And then, but during school, I still taught aerobics, we called it at the time,
Yeah.
group fitness. I worked at a gym, cleaning, equipment and helping people, and I just loved it. Well, fast forward, graduating from college, I had somebody say to me, okay, well, it's time to get a real job.
Oh.
Because I was a salesperson in a gym
Uh,
and I would loved it. I was like the top salesperson. I think
hmm.
because I just loved it so much. I wasn't like some great salesperson, but I loved the gym and I loved helping. And man, I was selling memberships like crazy. And when this person said that, it was like this big like punch in the stomach, like, oh, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Started my whole internal talk, about I needed to be better. I needed to do something more important. It wasn't good enough. And so then I started going into a different background. I started looking into financial stuff because, again, I could wear a suit and carry a briefcase and it sounded important.
Right.
And I'm getting to my pregnancy part, but this is kind of all important to hear because it all plays together. So after I started working as a financial advisor, um,
Wow.
that was actually really funny because people would come in and I would spend more time working with them on like their health
Oh
plan
gosh.
and would talk about their goals and what they were going to do in retirement. And I'd be like, well, you should probably like start exercising. And they were like, we're going to talk about our IRA. And I'm like, oh, I guess. So clearly that was not like my calling, but I learned a lot. It was great. Well, then I got pregnant, and as part of that people don't know is I was told I was not going to be able to get pregnant
Oh.
because I have PCOS, like the untraditional, like I didn't really have the symptoms of it, but that was kind of what they decided I had.
Can you just give a just tell people what that is because not everybody knows. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, that's a really good point. Polycystic ovarian cyst syndrome.
mhm.
So where basically you just get cysts and it was causing me to not ovulate.
Okay.
And so it kind of messes up your period, and a lot of people get heavy with it. And I did tend to be, and it's still probably a little bit more on the heavier side. I'm not like a scrawny thing, but you know what I mean. So anyway, when I got pregnant, that was a big shocker, like a very good shock. And so I had my baby, got really, like really big, really heavy. And I can honestly say it wasn't because I was just like pigging out all the time, but I truly just blew up like 85, maybe 90 pounds. I don't really remember.
That's wild to think of now because I couldn't even imagine that on you.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I wish I had more pictures of it, but at the time I didn't want pictures
No,
because
of
I would
course
hide
not.
pictures because
Yeah.
who wants to be. So after I had the baby, had a lot of complications with having her, and like almost died. And I
Wow.
mean, really, that's like a whole nother story, but it was really scary. And so when I was able to go home from the hospital and bring her home, I think it was only 10 days later I got to bring her home, but again, another notch in my story started. Like I was not good enough. I couldn't even have a baby right. We start
Yeah.
these stories. And so anyway, I'm walking all these like not good enough, poor me, victim in the back of my mind. And so I started eating
Mm.
like a lot, and it was particularly cookies. Cookies were my jam. Actually, but but to a different degree. But then I got pregnant again, and I had not lost, I mean, maybe 30 pounds from the first pregnancy, maybe. And I don't even, some of the numbers and stuff are
Right.
not quite clear anymore to me, but it's been a while, almost 16 years.
Wow.
And I can't even believe that. And so, well, 16 for my first baby. But so anyway, I got pregnant again, had my son. And during this time, I had been passed up for a promotion at work.
So you
It,
were still working in the finance.
yeah, I was still
Wow.
working in the
Okay.
finance. And when I knew, even though I wasn't super happy with it, I had to have a job. I had to
Yeah.
work. And I thought, well, might as well. It was just like,
Yeah.
I guess I just thought that was all I could do. And although a lot of people would love that job, I was miserable. But I worked hard. Like no matter what, I worked hard, and I was about ready to get promoted. And I found out I was pregnant, and that's when I told my boss because I wanted to be honest, and I mean it was going to be obvious soon. And so it probably was actually. And so I did not get the promotion.
Oh.
Now, who knows if it really had anything to do with being pregnant or not? At the time, of course, I thought it was.
Right.
And so I decided that I was going to quit my job and stay home. And we figured it out financially. But during that time, I knew that I couldn't be just somebody to just stay home. And even though all the moms out there that do that, it's hard, hard work. I just didn't have that calling to be a stay-at-home mom, but I didn't know what else to do because I was, so what happened though is those stories in my head got deeper and deeper. I was not good enough to get a promotion. I got sick with my pregnancies. I was overweight. I was just like miserable. But on the outside, I was like, happy, go, like everyone thought I was happy, but I wasn't. And so what I started doing to make extra money is I feel like I'm a pretty good baker. I actually love to bake. For it. I don't know why or where that came from, but so I started baking cookies to sell. And I thought it'd be a good way to earn money because I felt like I needed to be a part of that. And so I started going to like craft fairs and all kinds of stuff and selling cookies and taking orders. And I started doing like business meetings, and it really started taking off.
Wow.
But I wanted to perfect the perfect recipe. So I was baking like an enormous amount of cookies daily. And not only was I baking them, I
Right.
was consuming, I'm not kidding, 12 to 15, maybe more cookies a day. And they're not like little cookies. They were like big, thick, really awesome cookies.
Right, of
And I
course.
would hide them. Yeah, they were so good. I would
Yeah.
hide them. I would put them in the freezer. I would tell my husband, if you see me like eat another one of those, you know, tell me to stop or throw them away or, and then of course nobody would tell me not to eat them because any smart man would not tell your husband. Even though I would ask him to,
Right.
no. And I'm like, so I not only, didn't lose weight after the second baby, but I actually started gaining more. And actually, I must have lost more in between the two because my total weight loss is between 65 and 70 pounds. So I guess I did kind of maintain, or lose more in between the two.
Right.
The numbers are kind of mixed. But anyway, I was miserable. And my son was 9 months old, 8 or 9 months old. I had my 30th birthday, and it was like one morning I just woke up. I can remember it so well. I remember waking up. I remember what I had on. And I don't know if it was a dream. I don't know if it was God. I don't know what. But I woke up in the morning, and I kind of snuck away from the bed to go to the bathroom. And because at this point, things weren't great with my husband because I was so ashamed of myself, and I just felt bad, and I was unhappy. And so I would like hide away from him. And so I went in the bathroom, and I caught my face in the mirror, and I was like, who are you? Like, who is this woman? Like, this is not who I am. Like, I gotta snap out of it like now. And so I remember that day just like looking in the mirror, and I was like, come on, like, you've got this. Like, and who cares what anyone thinks? You're gonna get better and live a better life. This is not who you want to be, and we're gonna focus only on what I want. And I did. And literally, like that day, I went to a local gym and tried to get a job teaching fitness classes.
Really, just like that. You didn't even think about. I mean, you you basically
No.
had this moment, and then you're off to the
acted.
races.
And that's why I'm saying, like, I remember that day. Like, I don't know what like bit me in the butt, but something got me. And and so I went that day, and I remember this super well. I walked in. I had kind of in and out been to this gym, and I went to the group fitness instructor or the coordinator, and I told her, that I had my certification because it was still like, actually, I don't know if it was valid. I think I had to like pay a fee to like renew my certifications. But long story short, she said to me, great, as soon as you lose the baby fat, come back.
No
baby weight, whatever she's, come back and we'll have a talk. And I have never stepped foot in that gym again, ever. Like, ever. I was done. And I kind of now looking back, she probably didn't realize how hurtful that was or how it came across or, and so I forgive her. But because of her saying that to me, though, two things could have happened there. I could have totally given up and gone back to poor little cookie eating Rae Anne.
Yeah.
But what it really did was motivate me more because I thought, how dare she like not think I'm good enough? And so it took me a couple days to muster up the courage again. I went to another gym, and I actually ended up being their group fitness coordinator and created the whole group fitness program by myself, and had the best like time there. Loved it. It was like the perfect thing. It was my home. And so anyway, that was kind of my story as far as like it took a long time to tell it, but really like I went from fit to not fit to finding myself again. And so, like I said, my daughter is going to be 16 in just a couple weeks. And so it's been, my son will be 14. So it's been 13 years probably that I've like kept the weight off, plus or minus normal fluctuations. And have totally like just decided I'm going to do what makes me happy. And so one of the things is having the career that I choose to have because it is good enough for me. And I feel like I've helped so many people and I want to help more. So, yeah.
So I want to focus in on that part because oftentimes I find, and especially with talking to people, that we actually know when we're young what we love to do and what we're interested in. And it's so interesting that we can be taken off that path with people who, like there's something inside us that thinks that we're not good enough for a certain portion of what we want to accomplish, and just one nudge from the outside to validate that negative thought can send us in this different way. So I think it's wonderful that you ended up back, and more than anything, you've made quite a career of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I really have. And I love it. And you're right. I mean, it just takes any validation whatsoever. And even though I would say I'm pretty like confident and strong in my mindset now, I mean, it's always a work in progress,
Oh
always,
yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? And so even moving my business online, and so, I mean, something I didn't mention there is I did open a group fitness studio I had it 7 years, with a lot of ups and downs and learning through that. But it was so scary to go from an in-person business to online. So
Yeah.
scary.
And actually, I want to talk a little bit about that with you, because I met you around that time where you were exiting and
Yeah.
going into the online. And one of the reasons why I want to have these conversations with women is, in general, with all these interviews, is that you said we're always a work in progress, and we are. And there are points that don't go well.
Yeah.
And, there's the idea that contrast, you find out like, oh, I did not like that. So
Yeah.
therefore now it informs the decision of where I'm going. So can you touch a little bit about what it was like to have a studio in person, and what wasn't working for you?
Yeah. So, um, during my younger days of the, fit time, I had always envisioned having just a group fitness place. There was a place I worked out at in high school, and I wanted to recreate that. And I had never seen it anywhere else. So I had this vision. Like I remember the color of the walls, but I'm a big visualization person.
Yeah.
And I did it a long time ago, but I didn't even know I was doing it, like now back. But I just had this amazing vision. And the gym that I was the group fitness coordinator at, it suddenly closed. Like it
Oh
just
wow.
closed one night. And I will tell you that was really bad, really bad. And at the same time, about a week later, my dad passed away. Like
Oh wow.
it all happened at one time. And it just felt, again, I was like, oh no. And I felt really scared because I was so scared of going back to that old brand. Or to the intermediate brand. And so when my dad passed away, he left me actually a little bit of money. And so I felt like it was his gift to me unexpectedly to do this dream I had and this vision. And I used to talk to him about it all the time. And so I felt like this is my calling. I'm just going to jump in. Well, I did have a business background, but there's a big difference between being passionate about fitness and helping people and running a business. And I thought I had what it took to do both, but I really didn't. I was so focused on like what the studio looked like and what the calendar was and the, teaching the best class in town that I kind of forgot about, marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just really was it was a lot harder than I thought. And I physically ran myself down because I was teaching, up to 6 classes a day sometimes. And when you are owning your business in the beginning, I felt like I had to do everything, to prove I could do it.
Yeah.
I don't know who to, but someone,
Yeah.
myself maybe. And secondly, it was a brand new business and I didn't really have extra money.
Yeah.
And I was not going to ask for help from anyone. I just wanted to prove that I could do this. And so I was teaching and teaching and teaching. And even though it was fun, I was getting injuries. I actually got adrenal fatigue. So it just overstressed my body.
Yeah.
I just felt horrible. And so it really, although there was a lot of great stuff about it, I met amazing people, and some of those people are still working with me. And I was able to do something that I thought was my dream. I finally did decide that it was just time for my physical health, and for my family, because I was missing a lot of nighttime. I missed bath time, and there was a lot of stuff that I missed trying to be this important like business owner. And again, it was kind of another one of those aha moments. I was like, wait a minute, like I need to appreciate my life at home more, and I can do this otherwise. I don't need to have a studio.
Yeah.
So as a business owner, it was actually an amazing transition. It was tough, but I lost almost all my expenses, and everything from there almost became profit. So it definitely,
That's a pretty nice.
financially, it was
Yeah.
definitely a good decision. So it was more about what people would think. What are
Yeah.
people going to think of me for failing? And for so long, I felt like I was apologizing, or explaining myself. And finally, I'm like, I don't have to explain myself. It just didn't work anymore.
Hmm.
But so anyway, that was kind of my situation. And now it's been, gosh, 3 or I don't even know how many years that I have not had it.
Yeah.
And it's taken some time to get over it. I still have to, like, when I drive by the building, I'm like, oh, don't look. little ping,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's okay. Yeah. So,
But it's an amazing, like, look how you turned it around. And again, it's like going back to that mindset, like what keeps us from moving forward or not moving forward or being truthful about the
mhm.
decisions that we need to make because we have this perceived idea like we need to appear in a certain way.
Yeah.
And it
And,
is, we all struggle with that.
right. Well, and that was the whole thing. Like, I kept this. In fact, I think when I met you, I was in the middle of closing, but then I reopened.
Yes. Yep.
So it was like
Yeah.
mid. So I owned it for like 3.5 years, and then closed, and then went back for another 3.5. Only because the guy, the renter, or the landlord, gave me like a super great deal, and I was like, oh well, I'm gonna really prove it this time. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
better. I'm gonna do better. And but a lot of it was purely for for other people, not for myself.
Hmm.
So
And
you're
now
right.
look at this example. So you totally turned this around and you decided to do what Rae Anne wants to do.
Yeah.
So what has evolved since then?
Well, so I love my monthly like membership program that I have called the Ram Life. And through the Ram Life, I've been able to work with a lot of people that I used to work with in person. It's a way for me to stay in touch with
Hmm.
them. But I get to teach, and that is what I love. And I think that's why I loved group fitness, is I felt like I was teaching. I was
Right.
like showing good form, showing it what worked, and explaining. And I love that.
Yeah.
So now I get to work, more about nutrition coaching and education and mindset, which I love.
Yeah.
So I'm able to do a lot of that through my group.
So can you explain a little bit like how does a membership work? Like how did if it's all online, how does it work?
Yeah, so I have a membership like portal
Okay.
where people can log in and get information for the month. And each month I have a new topic or theme. And also each month I do through like a Zoom webinar base, I do a monthly webinar on a topic. So it just depends.
Yeah.
January was gut health, February was heart health. So we do some kind of topic that I get to teach about the topic in general. And then from there, the members have time to ask questions for the whole month.
Hmm.
So we do have a Facebook private group where most members are in because it's just easy access to me. I check it daily.
Hmm.
I'm answering questions all day long, posting information, articles, videos. The thing I probably love the most, though, is every Wednesday evening, I go live into our group and I do a mindset talk.
Do you?
So
Oh.
yeah, every Wednesday night.
Hmm.
And it's 15 minutes or less because I know people don't have a lot of time. And it's been amazing because I've been working on mindset for many years, but there's so many women, 50 years or older that have never worked on it. And it is
Yeah.
amazing watching these women finally kind of break free from their own like victimhood or their own mind.
Yeah.
And people around them. So it's really, really rewarding to myself because I just love seeing them make changes.
Do you feel
So
like
so good.
I was just going to ask like so do you feel like with this membership because you love teaching so much, it's this is always my problem with going to a regular gym is that you don't get this. Like you can do one-on-one coaching with or training with somebody and maybe get like the nutrition piece, but from having experience membership, I think one of the highlights is that you really get this more inclusive support that in education, like as you're talking about the educating, like all those topics, like you wouldn't have time to talk to somebody that you're training with about gut health.
No, and you really shouldn't
Yeah.
because when people are with their trainer, they should be working on the workout, right? And
Yeah.
that was one of the reasons I stopped personal training one-on-one is that I found that it was more about counseling
Yeah.
and therapy, just listening, and they weren't really getting a lot out of the workout. And I was like, well, I'd rather coach you about these things that are bothering you and have you go to a great class, or, or work with somebody that does just want to do the fitness. Because I felt like I have more of a calling that way now. As I age and the more experience I've had, I feel like I see exercise is so important, of course, but I
Yes.
see how much all the other areas play in. But I do, because I still love fitness.
Yeah.
In the group, we do 3 live workouts a week. So we meet at 6 a.m. On Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we do a workout. And I'm in my bedroom. It's just real workouts, just like metabolic, meaning we use some weights and some cardio. This week is particular our rest week. So we were doing more like stretching and like letting our body rest this week, but we still meet, and it's a great way to hold them accountable. But it's all just about fitness at that time. But then the rest of the week and times they can look at all the other information that helps them. So I really love it. It's great.
That sounds like so much fun. I've seen your workouts and done your, through the video, and I have to attest, you're an incredible instructor. And just like, it's like it's that when you are you're in your element, it just kind of exudes. It's just all natural, which is really fun. And your workouts are never forced.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's exactly my goal.
Good.
I want people to choose to do it and to feel good about themselves, and not feel punished or pressured, So that's my goal.
Now, with all the mindset work that you've been doing in these memberships, do you have a range of people in ages, like within your groups?
I do. I have probably our youngest member is about 30, and then I have all the way up to 75 years old. But the majority of women are in their mid to late 40s, early 50s. So, yeah.
So do you feel like that is kind of an age where women, now that they're kind of coming into this next phase of life, where this kind of awakening happens?
Yeah. And, I'll never forget someone saying to me, I was getting ready to turn 40, and they're like, oh, 40 is great. Like, you're not going to care. And they're like, but wait till you're 50, and then you're really not going to care. And 60, you really don't care what anyone thinks. And so I'm like, okay, I like that. But, let's, the earlier we can discover that, and the earlier we can not care as much what people think, the happier we're going to be, the more free we are. So, yeah, I mean, I work well with that group. And I don't know, like I said, I just feel so happy when I can give them like an aha moment that they just didn't even know they could have. I think that's really exciting. But you're right. At that age group, it's like, what have I been doing? You spend so much time, especially if you have kids, it's like your whole world shifts to like parenting, parenting, work, sleep, and it's like, who am I? Where am I? How do I fit into this? And so I really love teaching people that, they have to take care of themselves first, because if they want to be a good mom, a good wife, a good coworker, whatever, you have to be strong and healthy yourself first to be your best for others. And so that's kind of my approach, is take care of the number one first. Yeah.
Well, how do people find out about your group membership program? Like, what's the best way to?
Well, really, Facebook is a great way to find me. Rae Anne Mullins. I almost said .com. That would be my website, but that works too. RaeAnneMullins.com. I do occasionally run like a 30-day trial, or I want to say jumpstart program, just to kind of give some structure and help people see what they really can accomplish in 30 days. And that's a great way to enter into the program, so you understand my coaching style and what I believe in. But I always do discovery calls.
Oh, great.
So, if anybody ever wanted to, they can just email me at raeanne@raeannemullins.com.
And then a discovery call, what should they expect on something like that?
Yeah, so on a discovery call, I love to talk to people about like what their goals are, their biggest struggles. And I like to give at least 2 or 3 tips that they can do immediately. And then we can decide at that point, do you fit well in a group program, or would you rather do one-on-one coaching, or maybe I need to refer you to someone else? So I love it because it at least gives them an idea of what their options are.
Rae Anne, that is so great. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And
well, thank you for having me. I was excited.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. You really have a wonderful story, and it's very inspiring. So,
well, thank you.
Thank you so much, and we will talk soon.
Okay, sounds great.
All right. Bye, Rae Anne.
Bye.